Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got, I believe it's episode 6 of our podcast, Dark Legion Dispatch. I've got Quantum here. Quantum, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Unstable. How about
I
yourself?
am doing fantastic. We got some pretty cool stuff to talk about. We already spent some time on your channel, talked about a few topics. The 1 year anniversary of the beta server launch, which was pretty cool. The November wrap up, kind of a report of how November went and what we were excited about and what we weren't so much. And then a tier list update, which is pretty staple for us. So some pretty
Yep.
exciting stuff over there. So if you're coming from over there, we're going to pick up with some other topics. We've got Artemis. Excited to talk about her. She's going to be
Yep.
out, what, in a couple weeks, I think?
Yep.
Yeah. We've got,
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully. We thought she was going to come around now, but we've
Yeah.
got the newest December update. So we've got some very cool stuff to talk about that. I think a lot of this episode is going to be spent on that just because there's some things to really dig into. And then we've got revenues and downloads. I've been collecting this information over the last several months and over the last couple months. Just want to give an update on what that looks like. And Quantum, really get your thoughts on that too, and the direction of the game and how it's been going as well. So some pretty cool
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah. Lot to talk about. Lot to pack into an episode here. I feel like sometimes when it's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
This one feels like it's probably a long one, but I think it's a lot of helpful information, and we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in every time we do this. It's been a really fun endeavor for us. So I'm super excited to talk about Artemis a little bit, maybe do some theory crafting.
Absolutely. Before we jump into that, just really quick, if you've not seen episode 1, head over to Quantum's channel, check it out so you can see those topics we discussed. If you're not subscribed to him, make sure to hit that subscribe button over there too. Hit those likes, hit those bells. Give us some of those comments. Ask us some of those questions because we're
Yep.
going to eventually do a mailbag thing where we're going to answer questions on podcasts and stuff like that too. And also just
Yep.
the interaction from all of you is just absolutely awesome. So hit pause, go over to Quam, just watch part 1, come back, and let's talk about part 2. So Artemis. We've got Artemis coming out. We know that she's Amazon. We know that she's Guardian, which I think there's some hard opinions about that, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we should probably talk about that elephant in the room. But it's really cool to see I guess full character model in the
Yeah.
game. So you
Yeah,
can
she
go
looks really
into
good.
the collection and love the battle axe. But it's just it is a little bit baffling to me that she's got this massive battle axe. I don't see a shield anywhere, and she's a guardian champion.
Yeah.
So guardians are typically associated with tanking and protecting the rest of your team. But one thing that I want to caution people on, not to get too frustrated until we actually see the kit,
Yeah.
is the developers of this game don't do everything like cookie cutter.
Right.
Their idea, like, I mean, you can see it in the full what Amazon's team where they're all guardians and warriors.
Yep.
And like thematically, that's true.
It
There
fits.
there weren't there like it actually fits. So I caution people not to just flip out over nothing until we've actually seen the kid and seen her in practice. But I am a little bit worried that she's not going to be as good as we want her to be.
Yeah.
What a lot of people in the community have asked for is like a I guess free to play or non-whale version of Death Metal Wonder Woman, like a
Right.
way to actually make Amazon's work without having to have Death Metal Wonder Woman in your account. So I really hope that she is that. She's got the metahuman tag like all the others. So like the fact that all of your Amazon's champions are going to have metahuman tag,
Right.
you're going to get a lot of extra attack. So I guess I mean that's not the only factor here, but
Right.
I don't know what you think about her. I love the actual design of the character. Love the massive battle axe. It reminds me of Cloud Strife's sword
okay.
in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII. So
Yeah.
I'm like cautiously optimistic. Like when the last thing I'll say really quick, and I want to hear your thoughts on her as well. But even though we don't know much, it's all speculation. But whenever I did the Red Hood Ascension
Mhm.
and Artemis was like a big like factor in that, I was
Right.
like, man, she's gonna be the next champion. I can feel it,
Yeah.
and I was so excited about it. So I really hope they don't let us down here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I feel the same way. I'm trying to be careful because when you put a team together, you want a balanced team together, right? Crowd control,
Yep.
healing, damage, tanks, things like that, and be able to mix and match them to meet the challenge that you're going to be going up against.
Yeah.
But you look at what these full teams are, and like you said, these are all guardians, these are all warriors. There's not much healing there, so it seems like it's going to be more of a plug and play type team.
Yeah.
Not a team that you're going to really bring together as full Amazon unless there's, I don't know, something coming up where we're going to be able to use them.
Yeah.
But I agree because I mentioned the exact same thing in one of my previous videos. I think it was my team tier list video where Artemis, really hoping that she becomes that damage dealer to
Yeah.
replace DM Wonder Woman for people who don't have DM Wonder Woman, because I think it's maybe 1% of the player base have DM Wonder Woman. So you need to
Yeah.
be able to fill that spot, and I'm hoping Artemis fills that spot. I'm hoping she's able to bring some damage, because I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen the Amazons on the DC movies, but they can cause some havoc. So I don't
Yeah.
care. They could do some damage. So I'm hoping to see some damage from her.
Well, I mean, non-death metal Wonder Woman is kind of she's a bad woman in a lot of the content. Like
Yeah.
she ends up being the reason why Justice League gets bailed out of situations,
Yep.
and she's doing a lot of damage in the process. So
Yeah.
she's clearly not like a big damage dealer in this game. She's, like purely a tank. She's got the stuns if you upgrade her to if you do her Ascension event. But yeah, we definitely, I agree with you. Like, we've got to have some sort of a damage dealer for this team,
Yeah.
or a way to package a 3 tag synergy Amazon's team that's going to be like super tanky
Right.
with a couple of other random champions on your roster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
No, I 100% agree. And even I would like to start seeing some more 2 tag synergy activation as
yeah,
well.
I mean, I agree. We kind of might see that with like Death Metal Wonder Woman gets
Yeah.
the Death Metal tag synergy by herself.
Right.
So yeah, I think that would be nice, because then you could build a 3 and 2,
Right.
where like you bring
A
two,
pretty solid one.
you bring like, which with Amazon's you could technically build a Teen Titans and Amazon's team, because you have Donna,
Yeah.
but then Donna isn't the greatest champion. Like, I would rather just bring Cyborg
Yeah.
than her. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, but pretty cool champion so far, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to her. We'll see. Like I said, I thought she was going to be here this week, but looks like we got 12 more days. So we got about 2 weeks before we see her. So yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to being able to test her as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm probably, I did my first live stream since global launch happened. The last time I did one was in February, and it went fairly well. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Celebrated 5,000 subscriber milestone and
Congrats.
some other things.
I know it was
Thank
a
you.
while ago, but congrats.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a while ago, but I didn't have time to
Yeah.
do the live stream. But I really enjoyed it. Got a lot of feedback, and I think I know you do some live streams to test. I think I might incorporate a little bit of that as well. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'm going to try to start doing it maybe once a month or twice a month, something like that.
Oh,
So,
fun. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that for sure. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my more favorite things to do, just because you get real time interaction with all of you out there, the community, asking questions and
Yeah.
just kind of having a good time. So I like it. Let's take a look. Let's go into newest December updates, and just to
Yeah.
stick with the character theme right now, since we're talking about Artemis, let's talk about Roy. Roy
Ooh.
Roy got a little bit of a change in this newest update. It just dropped today as of the recording of this video, so probably last week if you're watching
Yeah.
if you're watching this day of. But he got a bit of a boost. He's more of a damage dealer now, whereas before he was this hybrid of support damage. He had this counterattack support mechanism in his kit.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What do you think of what they did with Roy?
Well, I'm scared to think that he's actually good, and I haven't had a chance to test him that much.
Yeah.
I was going to try to get in touch with a couple of people tonight after we record and see if they've done anything, try to get a little bit of reconnaissance on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just reading the kit, a couple of things are concerning. Like, I think his ultimate seems like it's going to be less good because it takes away the counterattack damage synergy
Right.
that he had with Martian Manhunter. But that goes into like you mentioned, he was a support champion.
Yeah.
He really isn't a support anymore.
Mm-mm.
He is like a true damage dealer in his own right. But the question is it enough to put him on a team?
Right.
So, you know, they significantly increased the damage from the 9 arrows that shoot as part of his ultimate. And it's still going to be 9 of them. So that's good. But they took away the deadly mark that's inflicted on the ultimate, and they added it to his basic abilities.
Right.
And they changed the way deadly mark works as well. It's not a counterattack thing. It's what is it? It increases physical damage taken, so it's very similar to like Captain Cold or Cyborg, but it's less physical damage taken on the deadly mark. I don't think it stacks, but because of the synergy that it has with the turret that he deploys, I think there's going to be a decent amount of chip damage.
Right.
So the interesting thing about the turret is, like, the way it worked previously, I guess, is that it would only go off if someone cast their ultimate or a special skill.
Right.
The way they changed it was it just automatically targets the closest enemy. And if an enemy has deadly mark, it will prioritize them.
Yeah.
So it's going to do even more damage because it's going to be focusing on that deadly mark target. So, like, just taken like all together, I think the kit is actually really well written. And this should have been the way he was designed to begin with.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm looking forward to testing him. I haven't been able to test him. And with the newest tier list, I didn't move him yet. Got to really test him and see what he does damage-wise and put him in a couple different teams. We're getting a lot of characters now that increase or help with increasing physical damage. I almost feel like spiritual damage is getting left behind a little bit, even though Riddler helps with that too. But it's nice to see a little of attention to him. I think we had him in the basement forever, and the devs said, "Hey, we got to get him at least out of this basement."
Well, I mean, I think they were concerned that nobody was using outsiders.
Yeah.
And like, what's your reasoning for pulling Martian Manhunter if the outsiders don't really do it? Like, if Roy isn't that good.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is interesting about the kit, in addition to all the other stuff we talked about, was the acrobat attack, where it increases the his base attack percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But at the start of the battle, like previously, only outsiders would increase his energy gain. But now he has tag synergy with Teen Titans.
I was going to mention
he already had the Teen Titans tag, but the Teen Titans allies can increase his energy gain as well.
Yeah.
Which means, like, it makes him even more usable. There's some interesting comps out there that you might want to try with him.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's going to be fun. So we got some additional testing to do with him as well. But I thought that was a really good plus. This December update, I think, was really fairly decent. It's not massive, but I think it was significant enough.
Yeah.
Enough so much so to be excited about what's happening in the game. I know, like I said before, I think it was in your video, there's been some misses, but there's been some pretty cool stuff, like Metropolis maneuvers. I'm really excited for that one, because that one looks like what we might have seen in other games, a typical alliance versus alliance, where you're going in there, you're setting up all of your defenses, your opponent's doing the same thing, then you get matched, then you can go and start beating down their defenses and getting points. That's an asynchronous game mode. So if you're not too familiar with what an asynchronous game mode is out for all of you out there, is you don't have to go in at a specific time. It's like you don't have to meet the other alliance there at noon to fight it out. You go and you place your defenses and you do your attacks independent of each other, which is something that is more akin to a hero collector game that we've seen. Not so much a strategy game, which the developers are really looking to balance that. And I think adding this mode really helps balance that. What do you think?
Well, I got to be honest with you. At first, I was kind of upset. I like on the verge of crashing out over it, because I thought that they were just going to basically rename Nightfall Siege from the Halloween event and just throw it in. But reading a little bit more of like the actual description for the game mode, I have to agree with you. Asynchronous combat, I've been asking for more of that. It's not exactly PvE, but asynchronous ship combat where you have the ability to kind of think about it on your own and say, you know what, this is where I'm going to bolster my my defenses and garrison at. And I think this is going to be the best location.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can, once everything starts, I can go and attack the other side and steal their you know, garrison spots and that sort of thing.
Right.
So it is like much more strategic than Gotham War and Guardian Challenge and those game modes, because you can actually kind of think through it, and there is a little bit more brain power involved in it. Those other game modes, it just happens so fast. Everybody has to be there all at the same time.
Right.
It's bedlam. And even if you're thinking about it the right way, someone else could just screw you over by making a decision that's, you know, disadvantageous to you. So
Right.
I'm super excited about it as well. We'll see tomorrow. By the time this video comes out, it will already be out. So hopefully Unstable and I won't eat our words for being, you know, at least a little bit excited about the game mode. I'm really hoping that they you know, hit this one out the park, because we need a really good win from an update, and this one seems to be giving us that.
Yeah, I agree. And so we won't go too deep into it, because we know that by the time you watch this, like Quantum said, it's already out. So, but keep an eye out, because I'm going to, and I bet Quantum is going to be putting some specific videos out to cover the game mode as it gets released. So keep an eye out on both channels if you want to see that whole thing and get our thoughts around it. But I'm really excited for this one.
Well, we may already have videos out before this podcast episode releases, depending on
that's true
when we can edit it and cadences and all that sort of thing.
That's true.
So we might be calling out this podcast and saying, hey, just kidding. Or we might be saying, hey, yeah, we're really excited about it. Check the podcast out. So we'll see. There'll be a lot more to come on that game mode, I'm sure.
Yeah. So go look at those videos and give us your comments. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of weird the way that this all happens. All right, so that was one of the coolest things that I saw in the December update. What about you? What are you really excited for?
Well, what I'm excited for is the Scarab system.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this when I recorded an update video a few hours after the update came out before I went to work, and I think it may be the best system that they've come up with in the game so far, as far as making it where free-to-play players, light spenders, whales, pretty much everybody in the game is on closer to equal footing. Especially, I think, long-term, like, you know, once the system's been out for a while, people are going to be able to kind of, you know, build up their account and have the ability to put these really nice, they're very similar to mods in like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes or like Datacrons if you're a newer Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes player. I don't know what to compare them to in like Marvel Strike Force, but this is like ISOs. But there's like a love-hate relationship with those things, and I'm sure same thing will happen with the Scarab system. But in my opinion, this is the most important thing that a game like this can have, is a way to have the exact same champion lineup, the same ship, everything. But if you have a different cord chip on your squad, you could beat the other lineup. So I think it is an incredibly positive change. I think you're ahead of me in terms of like where you're at with trying to do your research. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on it as well, but.
Yeah. Well, so I'm level 11. I'm not sure where you are, but
I'm like 5 or 6. I haven't had much time to spend with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So level 11, I don't know. I just like it. Like you said, it's implemented much better. It's much better than the gearing system that we have. Like that everything just makes sense. As you continue to level up, you unlock higher chances, more rarities, you unlock more stat slots. It's more akin to what we've grown to expect. And I think after all the feedback that we've given with the gearing and the stat upgrades in the gearing, this is something that they probably took a lot of consideration into when they were building it. I like the fact that we can upgrade our jets. It's only one chip that we can add to our jet right now. I don't know if that's something that we're going to be able to change later, but being able to swap them out. And you don't get charged anything to swap them out. Whereas I've seen in other games, you get charged currency to swap like gear out or mods out and things like that. So,
well, we've both played Raid at least for a small amount of time in the last year, and there was apparently a very controversial situation with that game where they finally made it where you didn't have to pay to swap your gear out, like after years and years of that game existing. So I think you do have to pay a little bit in like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but it's an inconsequential number. In Raid, it was a lot more.
Right.
So I do appreciate that they didn't make us pay, because that would be like, we already have a massive paywalled whale system with the transmutes.
Transmutes,
like
that's what I was,
I have one champion, Supergirl, who has all level 3 transmutes on her gear. Most of my other champions are just at level 2 or level 1 on their transmutes.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, and I spend a decent amount on the game. So it's kind of crazy that I've been playing this long and haven't gotten a level 5 transmute yet.
Right.
Probably could have gotten like 1 or 2 of them if I focused on one champion, but I like to kind of spread it out.
Right.
This system here, like, you're going to get to level 20 over time.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get to level 20, you can just sit there and farm those highest level cord chips, on like a couple different days a week. Make sure that you line it up with your Supreme Commander.
Yeah.
And you're going to constantly be able to get better and better cord chips for your roster, and you won't have to spend thousands of dollars to do it. So
no, I'm
excited.
Yeah, they did really well with it. Plus, you can deconstruct them, and you get the cherubs, cherub, the scarab. You get the scarab chips, and then those you need 4,000 of them, so it takes a little bit of time to get. But then you can use that to guarantee you 4 stats.
Well, I talked to a whale earlier today before we filmed this, and they were saying that they maxed it out. It did cost like well over 150,000 drones or something like that. I forget exactly how much it was. It was a considerable amount of drones and chips. But by getting their system up to level 20, they got, I think, 6 beetle boosters.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, basically you can expect between level 1 and 20 to have enough beetle boosters for all of your squads and a couple left over. So I think that's probably reasonable. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But
they're random stats, though, so you're going to probably use them a couple times to get what you want.
I feel like they are very similar to Intertrons, where, like, basically do not use your beetle boosters until you get to the highest level.
Yeah.
There's no because it guarantees that 4th slot on the cord chip, and you don't want to be like guaranteeing a slot on one that isn't even guaranteed to give you 4 slots.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it does take you a while to get to those higher levels. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I was looking. So level 16 is where you start to get a % chance to get that 4th stat, and it's only a 5%. It's only a 5% chance.
Super low.
So.
Well, and maybe the argument would be to use the beetle booster at around that level, because if you go from a 5% chance to a guarantee, then it might actually be worth using after all. Yeah. But definitely don't use the beetle booster until you have the ability to get that 4th stat unlocked.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for it. I was playing with it all day today, so it's pretty cool. All right, so those are our 2 favorite things. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about Scarab?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
I know there's a couple of other interesting changes, as part of this, as part of the update that we could probably cover. I don't know what you wanted to go after next, but
combat cycle.
That was the one I wanted to go with. Yeah.
So with combat cycle, what they've done, it's needed to it's needed a little bit of love. I mean, Darkest Timeline needs a lot more love, but combat cycle, we're now getting some additional mechanics. to it, right?
Right.
So not only do we have these heroes that is going to give you a higher percent on your scoring, but also like some of the combat cycle bosses are going to take more damage from AoE damage dealers or single target damage dealers or physical damage dealers. So there's a little bit more strategy when you build your team and go up against these bosses now.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a positive change.
Yeah.
I did notice that most of the bosses, like the things that they take increased damage from and what have you, I was already using I think a lot of people were already using champions that would do that. So like the net effect is a couple of things. Number one, technically your scores should go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Should be able to get a little bit higher tier rewards for using the right champions on the right bosses. But also, I think they're going to disincentivize you using like, let's say, Supergirl on a boss that takes a lot of like increased spiritual damage. So like the Dawnbreaker, you already probably shouldn't be using her on the Dawnbreaker, but now it's probably not going to help you at all.
Yeah.
So like things like that, like you have to use a little bit more strategy in how you do it. And I already loved combat cycle.
Right.
So this is just like reinvigorating me for the game. Like just this one thing alone is like, I'm super excited about, because I used like a few months ago, I would just sit down for an hour or two and try different comps in combat cycle. We kind of sorted the meta out and it's not necessary anymore, but I really hope that this causes us to rethink our strategies and try some new stuff. And like I couldn't be more excited about this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was excited when I read through it as well. Just, again, any opportunity that we have to just kind of add a little bit more strategy when we build our teams and the whole theory crafting. I mean, that's why we like playing games like this. It's the theory crafting, and mixing and matching our teams and building them and stuff like that. So it was really nice to see that. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, combat cycle is almost all we have as PvE fans. Obviously, Training Simulator, Anti-Crime Network, things like that. Like Realm of Fates have been a really good thing. And we'll talk about, like, there's actually an update with the Realm of Fates. I guess we said what we wanted to say on combat cycle here. I just quickly, I don't know if you saw this or read into it much, but on the Realm of Fates, pretty good free to play and like early game player change that they made. It used to be it took a long time for you to get access to any of the Realm of Fates. You kind of had to like clear up a certain amount in Training Sim, and like it took high level champions to even get in there.
Right.
And now it's the Realm of Fates associated with certain bleed limited characters are going to show up whenever they hit the hyper time tracker. So like the Superman or like the Justice League and Superman family ones should technically show up when you first start playing the game, because Superman's going to be in the bleed. So I think
cool.
that's like a positive. I'm assuming that's the way it works. Maybe somebody can let us know in the comments about, if they're on a brand new server after this post update, and let us know how it works. But
have to go check out 422, see what it looks like there.
Very true.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to hit on really quick, and there's a lot to the update. If you want to see the whole update, you can check your in-game mail or just hit the link in the description below to go to the update details. But the other thing that I really liked was they changed how rifts work. Not rifts, no. Defeat the Dark Legion, right?
Yes.
Before you had to have a specific power level in order to do the battle, but now you don't. Now it's a recommended power level. So as you fill up your team there, and your league helps fill up your team there, you have more of a chance to hit some of those higher bosses, whereas before you didn't even have the opportunity.
Yeah, and I think with the addition of these higher level challenges, I think you're getting additional league currency. That league currency is going to help you buy more champions. Like right now, it's just Flash and Shazam.
Right.
But you'll be able to buy like quantum components, a lot more of those, AC/DC shards.
Yep.
I really think like the place that they've done a really good job with the economy is making it more affordable to get things out of the league store.
Yeah.
And they're incentivizing you being around for all the league events. Defeat the Dark Legion is not something that I think a lot of people do every day. You get 5 attempts that you can initiate.
Right.
And then I don't know the limit, but you can join a bunch of other people's initiated assaults.
I thought it was 10 or something like that.
Yeah, 10 or 20.
Yeah.
But either way, like you can join a lot of them and you get a lot of rewards for it. So this is really cool because you could have someone who's just like a War Room level 5 player, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to try this hardest one. And they go in and do it, and maybe, you know, nobody joins the squad.
Yeah.
They go in and they do like 1% damage.
Right.
You can clean that up. You know, you can, like, somebody else can go in and just pick it up and take it out. So I think it's pretty cool system that they did there. Like this is the kind of stuff that should have been in previously.
Right.
So
yeah, kind of similar back to what I had mentioned. I don't know if it was beginning of this one or back in your video. Some people were saying they should have waited a little bit longer before global release. Just because things are in a much better state now than they were. You know, and I don't know, they do so much to this game and they make so many changes so quickly. It's hard to keep up on a lot of this stuff. But
it is.
Honestly, I think they've had more wins than misses. Some of the misses are pretty bad, but
well,
I think they've had more wins than misses.
I think at some point, and maybe it happens closer to the 1-year anniversary of global launch or sometime next year, at some point, we are going to get to more of a stasis position with the game. You know, I think we mentioned at some point during the podcast, one of the portions of the episode, the fact that we have these monthly events that are kind of, it's the exact same thing. It's repurposed. Stuff like that is eventually going to just be the same thing every time. Like every year at Valentine's Day, it's going to be the exact same event. You just know what you're getting.
Right.
We're getting to a point where there's going to be enough in the game that it's really just going to be kind of like, you know, putting skins on things.
Right.
But I think they've done a decent job of it, and they definitely had a lot more hits than misses in this newest update. You know, they updated the league tech. We hadn't talked about that. They made a couple of updates to Meta Brawl. They're compacting the tiers in Meta Brawl. I think that's going to help a lot. The league trains. Actually,
you can add 2 more carriages.
New carriages. That's going to be huge. We've been complaining about that for months.
I know. Yeah.
That one's going to be big. Like a lot of free-to-play stuff that's just buried down in the update. So definitely make sure you go take a look at the update notes.
Yeah, it was a great update in my opinion. Overall, I loved it. It was one of my favorite updates, I think. So
yeah, can't complain.
All right, we are going a bit long here. We've got one more topic, and it's about revenue and downloads, and this kind of goes to, you know, how we feel about the direction of the game and how things are going. Right. Overall, I think going through your section of the podcast and what we've talked about so far, overall, fairly happy. Yes, there's some things that not too happy about that we feel are some misses and things like that. But I think overall, just without even looking at that yet, I think we're in a good space, and I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be a bit of a downer for people when we talk about this, but did you have something before I get into the numbers?
Well, I mean, I would just say I think that we are seeing some player loss due to the fact that we're not getting the PvE that a lot of people thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
You continue to get more and more conversations with Helen and other folks that confirm that most of this game is going to be PvP. So we are losing a lot of players, but I think those are players that, you know, we're always going to leave. And the people who are left, I still think we have a pretty good population. I wish we knew the exact player count or like the daily active users. That stat's something I always enjoy looking at on Steam for games if you guys play on PC. But I think we still have a very healthy player base, and you know, despite what the download numbers might reveal. So take it away.
So you need to also take a look at kind of some other games and stuff like that. I don't have all that information. I'll do that in a separate video. But when we take a look at DC Dark Legion, so back in October, revenue, now all my data, revenue and everything, it comes from Sensor Tower. Sensor Tower is not 100% accurate. I've talked with some devs, and they have told me that Sensor Tower data is actually a little bit lower than what their actuals are. We're not going to know their actuals unless it comes from the actual company. But in December, Revenue came in around $3 million. That's between iOS and Android. It just takes a look at those two devices though. So anything that's done outside of it, like purchases in the store, the DC store and stuff like that,
Yep.
I don't think it's captured in there. So there's a lot of outside revenue sources that aren't being captured. But $3 million in October, as far as Sensor Tower goes, and a little over 100,000 downloads, which isn't bad. And when you try and compare it to other games that have been out for a little while, that's pretty on par with what you're seeing. However, as far as downloads go, however, some games are still making quite a bit of money, in the double digits for millions of dollars, as far as revenue goes. So
Right.
this one, I mean, we're a little bit low. We have been trending down a little bit because when we take a look at November, we're just under 100,000 downloads, and we're down
Right.
to $2 million in revenue. That's still a lot of money. But I think we're going to start seeing you're going to naturally see some ebbs and flows, some highs and lows, just because of time of year and things like that as well. Seasonality, a lot of that kind of stuff. So you won't really truly know the health of the game unless, for, I don't know, in my opinion, a year or longer once you can get through some of that seasonality. But what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on those numbers?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people try to they try to make their, I guess, determinations or their assumptions based on just the sensor tower data, and I think
Hmm.
that's probably wrong. It gives us a decent snapshot,
Yeah.
and I think to your point, the more important data, and I hope you do a video on a little bit more of an analysis with some of the other comparator games.
Hmm.
But like, Marvel Mystic Mayhem and DC Worlds Collide and some of the others that are in the, like, truly the competitors to
Yeah.
DC Dart Legion. Maybe look at some of the games that were also up for that Game of the Year award that DC Dart Legion won.
Yeah.
But like, that's going to tell you, is the game healthy or not?
Hmm.
But also, I did just some like basic napkin math on the Death Metal Wonder Woman
Yeah.
event, and like what if X amount of players got her to red stars on each server, and like, I calculated that potentially they made millions of dollars,
Right.
like between $1 and $5 million, depending on, like, various factors, off of just Death Metal Wonder Woman, not anything else for that entire month.
Right.
And a lot of that is probably coming from the web store,
Hmm.
which is not picked up by Sensor Tower.
Right.
So I definitely think there's some money that we're not seeing, for at least events like that. And so you'll be seeing at least two or three of those going forward in 2026 whenever they do the other death metal releases.
Yeah.
So I think we're a lot healthier than people give the game credit for. Obviously a lot of factors at play,
Right.
but I think it's in pretty decent shape, all things considered.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I mean, like I said, you're going to see those ups and downs, but just
Yep.
the amount of change. If if there was any true impact to the game, in my opinion, this is just me talking my opinion, right? I'm not in the game industry. I mean, this is the closest to the game industry I get.
Yeah.
But if they were really hurting, we would not see as many updates and changes in the game like we do now. I mean, you and I came from another game that it was like quiet for months, and we knew something was up. There were no updates, there was no communication, there was nothing for months. So
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of figured what was going to happen with that. But there are so many
Yeah.
changes and updates and things with this game and all the communication. I really feel it's in a healthy state as well.
Well, you have all these people who are like, "Oh, this is the last well squeeze and the game is over." Like, people that legitimately thought Death Metal Wonder Woman was going to be the last thing we saw in this game, and it just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
The game you were referring to, I'm not going to name the name of it or anything
Yeah.
because it will hurt my feelings too much. But like, they released this like awesome marquee champion in December. You remember that?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh man, we got to go for this." And it had all these requirements that you had to build with it.
Yeah.
And people dumped a massive amount of money into the game. And then they just went quiet for
Yeah.
3 months. And then they just showed back up and said, the CEO of the company said, "Hey, we're done."
Yeah.
This is just not happening with DC Dart Legion.
Right.
We've got plenty of information coming in from the devs. Like, there's a healthy ecosystem. I'm fairly positive if you or I thought this game was dying, we would definitely tell our viewers
Yeah.
what we thought about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think we've been fairly candid. I mean, we've been
yeah,
critical where we need to be critical. We've praised where we feel praise is praiseworthy. I mean, yeah, I'm happy
yep,
with the game. This is the longest I've stayed with the game in a long time. I mean, the last game that I stayed with for this long was Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. Those of you who've been with me for a
yep,
while, you remember. And then I've been bouncing back and forth between games until this one. I mean, it really keeps my interest. The community is awesome.
yep.
Working with content creators such as yourself has been amazing as well. So there's a lot of cool things to be excited for.
Yeah,
So, all right.
absolutely.
I think we're done. We went a little long.
We definitely, this is the longest we've gone so far, but
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot of ground. Maybe probably won't be as much to talk about in the January episode. So I'm glad we took our time on this one.
Yeah, me too. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap up there. A lot of great content, a lot of great conversation. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation in comment section in this video as well as over in Quantum's. Again, remember, go and subscribe to him if you're not already. Make sure to listen to his part of the podcast as well so you get the entire conversation and let us know what you think. Again, your questions, your comments, your arguments, all of it is great. Quantum, I want to thank you as always for joining me as we do our podcast on both of our channels. We have a lot of fun together, and I just really appreciate the collaboration and the conversation that you and I have as well. You have anything you want to say to wrap up?
I really enjoy working with you on this thing. It's been a labor of love, and I think that every episode gets better as time goes on. Thank you so much to Unstable, to your viewers, and also to you as well. I echo those sentiments. I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely go over and take a look at the first part of this episode. You're not going to want to miss any of the conversations that we've had.
Yep.
Make sure that you engage down in the comments for the algorithm and also just to give us your opinions. Really appreciate being here, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of these days, I'm going to start decorating my background again. All right, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. Go hit Quantum's. Hit his like button. Leave your comments and questions in the comments section below. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.